Hello and welcome to VR Reviews. Today we'll be reviewing the Mafex Amazing Spider-Man from the Amazing Spider-Man 2. So yes, here we have my first Mafex figure. I wasn't particularly fond of this costume from the first movie, but I rather like this one because it's basically the same as the comic costume. So I decided to pick it up. And he is really cool. He is surprisingly metallic, but other than that, he comes with some cool accessories and is very, very well articulated. I believe there is also going to be, or already is, a deluxe version of this figure that comes with even more stuff. I'm not entirely sure what that comes with, but this is just the base version. Anyway, let's go ahead and zoom in for the articulation, sculpt, paint, details, all those sorts of things. Alright, starting off with a quick size comparison. Of course, here we have the Mafex Amazing Spider-Man. Here's the Marvel Legends Amazing Spider-Man, and here's Marvel Universe 3 and 3/4 inch Wolverine. The Mafex Amazing Spider-Man is taller, slightly, and thinner than the Marvel Legends Spider-Man. But they're still basically in the same scale, so you can use this as a Marvel Legends Spider-Man if you so desire. Now let's get the other two out of here and just look at the Mafex Spider-Man. Alright, moving on to our 360 spin. Here you can see Spider-Man. Of course, he's wearing his Amazing Spider-Man 2 outfit, which is basically the same as the comic outfit, except for the logos are a bit longer. He is metallic, which I was not expecting and is not apparent from any of the production pictures I've seen, and I'm not sure if I like it or not. I think I would have preferred it to be matte, but it has kind of an appeal being metallic. It's actually probably more visible in person than it is on camera how metallic it is, but the red parts are very shiny. He has lots of nice sculpted line work all over the red areas, and then the blue areas have sort of a very light mesh kind of texture. He has his red logo on the back and black logo on the front. And other than that, nothing too special. Pretty standard Spider-Man detail. And he looks really good. I'm just not too sure about the metallic. I think it just looks weird. I would have preferred matte. But whatever. Now let's go ahead and zoom in on his head sculpt. Head sculpt-wise, Spider-Man pretty much just has a round head, and then the red and black line work is all the same as it was on the rest of the body. But his eyes are really cool looking. They're like lenses over white plastic, so they have a very cool effect to them that you can see. And yeah, that's really nice. Apart from that, it's pretty standard, so I have no real issues with it. And while we're doing detail, Spider-Man also has web shooters on both of his wrists, so that's nice attention to detail. And he also has tread work done on the bottom of his shoes. So that's cool. Now let's zoom out and look at some articulation. Articulation is where the Mafex Spider-Man really shows how good he is. And articulation is something you definitely want from a Spider-Man figure. He has a ball peg in the head and in the neck, so that can go like all the way back, all the way to the side, rotate around. Very good. Ball joint shoulders, those go up and down, in and out. They drop down a little bit. Bicep cut, double jointed elbows, wrist hinge and rotation. He has a ball peg here in the upper abdominal area and also in the waist, so you can get like full abdominal range there, so that's really good. Hips drop down, go forward and back, in and out, rotate around, double jointed knees. He has hinge, rotation, and pivot in the ankles and toe joints. So pretty much all the articulation you really need to do pretty much any Spider-Man pose you can think of. So that's very, very cool. Now, Spider-Man comes with several interchangeable hands and some accessories, so let's go ahead and look at those. Here are all of Spider-Man's hands and his web line accessories. He has 2 fists, 2 web-grabbing hands, which also could serve as thumbs-up hands, I suppose. He has 2 wall-crawling hands, 2 thwipping web-shooting hands, and 2 sort of relaxed palm kind of hands. Then he has 2 sets of webbing that you can put around his wrist joint and then pop the wrists on so it's actually coming out of his hands, and then he has 1 line for holding on. The webbing's a bit meh. It's clear, so it doesn't really show that much detail, even though it is sculpted to have the sort of little swirly lines on it. I honestly probably prefer the webbing that I've made since it's a bit more visible, but this webbing's cool too. Now, Spider-Man also comes with a stand, so let's go ahead and look at that. Here is his stand. It's basically like a Tamashii stand, 3-jointed clip up here. The clip's a lot better than a Tamashii clip is. It's very similar to the Saint Seiya cloth myth stand clips, because it's all one piece instead of having to be attached to one another. And the base is kind of coolly shaped, and it's got 2 extra holes if you had more arms, or if you just want to move that arm around. So you can hold him up with that, which is pretty helpful, because you want him swinging around, or you can just hold him in standing positions, because his legs are actually kind of weak, and he doesn't stand up that well. So it's a pretty useful thing to have. Now that wraps it up for Spider-Man and all of his accessories, so let's move on to the packaging. Packaging-wise, Spider-Man comes in a pretty standard windowed box. Amazing Spider-Man 2, pictures of the figure on here on the front window. The Amazing Spider-Man Mafex number 3. On the back you get pictures of the figures, a little bit of stuff in Japanese that I can't read, and like I said, he does not look metallic in these production pictures at all. So I'm not sure why he's metallic. If he looked like this, I would probably be happier. But what can you do? As is always the case with windowed boxes, this is good for in or out of package displays. So yeah, Spider-Man. Alright, that wraps it up for Spider-Man, so until next time, goodbye! Hello, you've just watched one of my videos. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed my videos. If you didn't, run away and never return. Also, feel free to check out my other channels, Venom Raptor for all my variety gaming content, and VR Reviews for reviews of various action figures and collectibles. Thank you, and goodbye.